Recording in progress. All right. Lital, hello. Welcome, welcome.
Hi.
Thank you. Hi. Thank you so much for having this conversation with me. I know we just chatted a little bit before I hit record, but we haven't caught up yet. I just really wanted to save the goodness for us being able to have this conversation. And yeah, if you'd like to start, I'd love for you just to share the work that you do, and yeah, the service that you provide.
Yeah, thank you. My name is Lital and my company is called Moonlight Remedies. And so I was actually in the corporate world. I worked for Nordstrom for many, many years in cosmetics. And when I left about 5 years ago, it was because I just felt like it wasn't there anymore. And the reason I started working in cosmetics because I wanted to help people find a way to feel better about themselves. And after a while, that kind of starts to diminish when sales and all those things take over. And
Yes.
so, yeah. And
Yes.
so then the pandemic hit, and then I personally was having a lot of anxiety and a lot of headaches, and I went to so many doctors and spent so much money, and none of them could tell me that headaches were a symptom of anxiety. And all they wanted to do was just talk to me for 5 minutes, throw some medication at me, and move on to the next patient. And
Right.
I just wasn't really cool with that. So I didn't take any of the medications. And I started experimenting with essential oils. And when I did that, I came up with two essential oil rollers, one that helps with anxiety and one that helps with headaches, muscle aches, body aches, and menstrual cramps. And when I saw that they were working so well for me, I felt like it would not be cool to not share it because there are probably so many other people who maybe have similar issues that they just don't want to take, pharmaceuticals for.
Right.
And so I bottled them, I made a label, and I started selling them. And now my company has grown into a ton of different products. Um, and I went full time with it, with my business last March. And I spent all last year working every market, every fair, exhausting myself, doing all the things when all I want to do is just share my products with the world because I think that they can be really helpful.
Right.
And in my journey of learning, when I realized the essential oils were helping, I was like, what else can I do? What else can I learn that will help me take control of my health? And what can I do? And that's when I started learning about chakras and crystals and all the things.
So
And
good. Yes.
yeah. And so it was December time. I kept getting your ad kept popping up on Instagram when I would just be scrolling. And honestly, I took it as a sign because I think I had reached a point where I was like, you've kind of maxed what you can do in terms of setting up your booth every single weekend. It's exhausting. You have to set up, you have to break down. You want to be able to get your products out there to the world, but you also want to be able to help people. And you want to get, I also host new moon and full moon ceremonies, sound baths. I'm a Reiki practitioner. And I really wanted to head more towards into the services world anyways, because I feel like I could make a bigger
Products are hard.
impact.
Right. And products are hard because you have to sell so many of them, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, to eat, I mean, $1,000 in products that's a lot, right? A lot of
Yeah.
products to get it. Yeah. So I remember when you and I had when we had that conversation.
And I do want to be able to help people, and I can still do that, and I have my website. But if I can offer a service that will help teach people healthier habits for life, then I feel like that'll make a bigger impact, because if I teach you and you get
Right.
excited, then you go teach a friend, and then that friend teaches another friend, and then it's like essentially it's just raising the collective consciousness, which is what I want to help do. And
Yes,
so
100%. And so when you came into Soul Business Accelerator, you had never you had never sold a service before. Like you were only selling products, right? So like we helped you from scratch
yeah,
to yeah,
yeah,
and then to hear celebrating the fact that you've signed 5 clients and made your return on investment already from the program. So like that happened really quickly for you. Just
yeah,
well done, so well done.
yeah.
Can you share a little bit about like because you dove in, I think we see a lot of fear. We see a lot of people saying, okay, maybe I am selling products, or I've never sold a service before. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to create transformation for somebody. I don't know how to sell someone into a service. I don't know how to
Yeah.
serve them. Or they're feeling a lot of imposter syndrome, fear, self-doubt. How did you just literally go from like zero, nothing, never to boom, I've signed 5 clients? How did you kind of make that transition?
So I signed up for your program in December, and 5 weeks later, I had signed 2 clients.
Oh,
I I know, I felt like that was really important to say because I was terrified and I didn't know where I was gonna bring the money to pay for your program, and but I figured it out, right? You put it on a credit card and you say, like, "If I feel like I've exhausted my options in this work, like, there has to be a reason why I'm seeing this right now and not 6 months ago."
right.
Um, and so I had 3 weeks off where I wasn't working, and so I took those 3 weeks and I did modules 1, 2, and 3, and I just, like, I dedicated those 3 weeks to that.
Yep.
I reached out. I did the email list that you talked about where you just send emails to your best clients.
Yep.
I think I sent like 30 emails. One of them was interested. She's just a great client of mine. And then the other person that I booked was actually someone that I met at one of the expos that I was working, which is an
Uh,
external marketing tactic like you taught, right? And
yes.
so, because not everything, you have to use the external marketing to what works for you. And I
Right.
do workshops, I do sound baths and things like that. But when somebody's coming in for a sound bath, they're not really interested in listening to you talk like too much about stuff. They're like
Let me stay in my
physicals.
like Zen
Yeah.
space. Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
And so I was actually really impressed with myself because I was able to book a stranger, like somebody I had just met who I had talked to at the expo about it. He then booked a Zoom call with me. We talked about it in a more intimate, right? Like a quieter setting at home.
Yeah.
And then he booked. And then my other really great client, she booked. And they were within 24 hours of each other. And I think that gave me the momentum and the motivation that I needed to continue. Like, I do have I do have valuable information to teach. I do have, the will to keep going because um, I'm not going back to corporate America. I'm just not doing it.
Yeah,
It's not an
psychologically
option.
unemployable is what I say. Like once I think you have a taste of being an entrepreneur, you become psychologically unemployable. There's no way you could go back to like literally desperately hoping that, someone's going to give you this paycheck every single month and then it like disappears so quickly. And then they tell you where to be, when to be there, when you
Yeah,
can take vacation, when you cannot, like you're literally a slave in a prison. I could never go back either. Never.
no. And that's why I was so grateful for your program because you were talking about how you're teaching us basically how to fish, right? So whether it's this program that we're writing right now, whether it's another program in the future, you've said it multiple times. You were like, if I lost my entire business today,
Yep.
I'd rebuild it tomorrow because I have the tools necessary to do that. And I appreciated that so much because it's the truth. Like
Yeah.
once you learn it, you can't unlearn it, which
No,
is
you can't.
great.
It's there forever. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can take it I still to this day come back to all of the foundations in my business that I teach in SBA. You'll see me on podcasts. You'll see me out there speaking. You'll see me getting published in the media. You'll see me doing reach outs. I mean, all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still all foundational. So when you came into the program and you said you worked through modules 1, 2, and 3, which is usually what I say, obviously where we start you, and you did it in the exact time frame that I would have you do it in modules, just so that people are listening, we helped you to get clear on the your ideal client, right? We
Oh,
helped you
yeah.
get clear on your program and what you were actually going to sell to these clients. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And so when I realized that chakra alignment was what I wanted to really be speaking on, my program turned into more of a teaching program. And so through the modules, I was able to get it out on paper, like, when you have everything up in your head but you're trying to like make sense of it all. And so between those first 3 modules I was able to really get clear on like the title of each chapter, or just everything that I was doing to help it all make sense. And then once I started really writing the program, it all just kind of blended out beautifully. And um there was there was one where we had to like take a step, with
Yes.
each yeah.
Yes.
And that one was really hard for me, and I came to the Q&A call with it, and I was and, Mandy was like, "You don't need to worry about that because yours is like chapter 1, root chakra." Like, she's like, "Don't
Oh
let that
yeah, there
hold
you
you up."
go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so yeah, but I mean, everything just it was all so self-explanatory. I was able to really just have limited amount of questions. And then of course the few questions that I had, I asked, but for the most part, I went in saying, this has got to work. It has to. Like, and that's it. And so I now have 5 booked clients. So I took the program. Yeah, I started the program mid to end December. And today is what, April 15th, and I have 5 signed clients. So
Yay. So that's what I think everybody always worries about. And that's always my worry too, whenever I'm investing in a program is, will I get my return on investment? How quickly? And I think what I always say too is our goal for everyone coming in is sure, you're going to get your return on investment, but even more importantly, let's build a six-figure business so that you don't
Yeah,
even have to worry about money. Let's build
yeah,
a multiple six-figure business. Let's turn it into $1 million company. Like I think when we get our focus off of being, like kind of am I going to get my return on investment? How about we actually focus on the fact that you're going to learn how to build a six-figure business? It kind of
yeah.
shifts our mindset too. And it's like, okay, great. Now I've got my return on investment. And now let's do this like consistently every single month.
Yeah.
So now you have your foundations in place and yeah, like the sky's the limit. You're ready to fly.
Yeah, I got my return on investment in 5 weeks.
Oh,
So,
that's amazing.
yeah,
That
I
is
got
so
it
great.
actually more than that because my program was a little bit more than that. But I got my return on investment within those first 5 weeks. And so, if I can give advice to anybody is if you're on the fence, if you believe in yourself, then you should do it. Like if you know that you're not going to give up and you're going to keep going and it's not going to be just another course that you bought to learn about because that does happen.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes it does.
Yep.
Um, but if you make a point to just say like this is it and I'm doing it and I have amazing things to offer the world. And if you break it down, it really doesn't have to be that difficult. Booking
Right.
3 to 4 clients a month,
Right. It's so,
like it really doesn't need to be rocket science, and then you make impactful steps with those clients. Those clients recommend you to their friends. It's like at the beginning, you do a lot of hard work because you're doing all the legwork, but
yep.
it's okay because it's paying off. You're seeing those clients coming to you and signing up. And
Yep.
so I don't know. I'm
My
very,
mentor always says to me, and it's so true, that a plane uses 90% of its fuel during takeoff. And so it's like exactly what you just said. You come in and you make the decision and you're like, I burned all bridges behind. Like it's like the same thing as you said, this has to work. And that I think the women who come in and are successful, they say that. They're like, I'm going to come in, I made this decision, I'm going to master what's inside this program, I'm going to bring it to the calls, I'm going to give it what I've got. And of course, then it's going to work for you. And once you get all these foundational pieces in place, like you said, the snowball starts to take off. People will start inviting you to get on their podcast. People will start inviting you to get published in their, publication. They'll want you to come and speak. And then this client will hear about you from over here. So the first year is always the hardest. And it's like, just keep,
keep
put your
going.
head down, focus on what's in the program, one step at a time, ask any questions, allow us to guide you, and you're going to get there.
Yeah.
I love your story. I think it's so inspiring because you shifted from product to service so quickly. Where can we find your work?
So you can see it on my website, moonlightremedies.com. You can also follow me on social. So I'm on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, just at Moonlight Remedies, same logo. And yeah, if you have any questions, you can reach out to me, whether it's about SBA or my products. Like I'm happy to, if you have a question you want to ask. But yeah, I offer a 90-day chakra alignment program. We go through each chakra individually and we learn the best way for you to align your chakras because what works for you might not work for somebody else. And so it's a one-on-one program through Zoom. So you can be in the comfort of your own home. I go based on your availability and your schedule. And so we go through it together over the course of that 90 days on purpose. Because, for example, when we learn about the root chakra, I want you to have those 2 weeks in between each class to be able to incorporate everything that we learned and to get those habits into play. So that way, when we move on to the sacral chakra, you're already adding on to what we learned about the root chakra. So by the end of the 90 days, you have this total transformation where you feel like you really are on top of the world and you have control over your mind and your body connection and how you feel. And that's what I want for you at the end of the day.
Sign me up. So good. See,
Yeah.
and then also look how you speak about it. You speak about it so connectively, so clearly. You talk about the transformation. It's just everything that we teach. Like you are amazing. You are amazing. And you is amazing. And thank you so much. I'm so glad that we were able to support you to get your medicine out into the world. For sure. You're going to heal so many.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm very excited.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Thank you.